Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Irritable Rambling Roundtable. I'm Wilson, joined by Toast on my left and Mr. Berg on my right. This is the show where we discuss a topic.
Viewer requested.
This one is viewer requested. What is the topic today?
Shout out to Ben. Hey, Ben. We'll put a link to something, probably not in the show notes. Ben asks, can we talk about the DC implosion, aka the DC Bloodbath, aka business as usual for AT&T? The sky is falling for comic book fans.
Yes. So for those that don't know, there has been recently a massive surge of layoffs at DC Comics. They're getting
at AT&T.
Oh, at AT&T. Well, DC has laid off a bunch of their people. Mainly
correct,
from
but it's all the thing that nothing seems to mention is that AT&T did it across the board.
Oh, they did it as well?
They did it to every division.
Every division
got layoffs.
Okay.
The Warner Brothers DC one just made the biggest noise because nobody cares about
phone
Bob and
yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm reading, from the most recent thing that I can find is that DC is going to be hiring a new business manager to run the publishing side of things. No one knows who he is yet, but he comes from the world of esports. Now, if you know me, you know one thing. Sports rings off alarm bells for me. I don't like sports, and I'm scared about a sports person coming in. And esports, obviously it seems like this guy's coming from something digital. Maybe DC is wanting to push more digital stuff. I don't know. That's been part of the discussion, or part of the speculation from some people based off of what I've heard and what I've read. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but they do seem like they're moving away. They got rid of their complete what was it, DC Entertainment, or the subscription thing that they did, the TV?
DC Universe.
Yes, thank you.
DC Universe went away, and all the programming is going to HBO Max.
Yeah, well, that's what they believe. I don't think they've officially announced that.
They did.
I think they officially announced that yesterday.
Oh, okay, so I'm behind.
2 days ago.
A couple of the shows are going to the CW, and everything else is going to
HBO Max.
HBO Max. I've been waiting for that since the original HBO Max announcement. And I'm like, well, why are there two of these? Just put everything over there.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping they keep some of the shows. I'm a huge fan of, believe it or not, the Harley Quinn animated show is great. It's hilarious and fun. I love it. But that's beside the point.
I hear good things. I haven't tried it yet.
It's so good, dude. It's just not what I was expecting, but it's so adult. Alan Tudyk does Clayface, and he voices him like an actor. That's awesome. How Two-Face, or not Two-Face, Clayface talks in this show. He's like, awesome. I'm an actor, kind of thing. Yeah, it's so good. I don't know what else there much to say about this.
There you go, Ben.
Honestly.
Hope you enjoyed that. Basically, they fired tons and tons and tons and tons, or not fired. What's the proper?
Let go, laid off?
Let go. They gave a ton of people on every level of DC their walking papers.
But in November.
Yeah,
November.
They have like 3 months to work.
Because that is part of the labor laws in California.
Yeah.
So basically, all these people, creative side, every side, thank you, your services are no longer required, but you have to work for us for 2 to 3 more months depending upon your position. They are welcome to quit early, but then they don't get their severance package.
So I have previously been laid off from AT&T.
Uh-huh.
The exact same circumstances. They're like, we're going to let you go in December. Great.
So
they let you know. They give you something to look forward to.
A couple of months. Yeah.
So what we most care about, or I most care about, first of all, I'm going to put it out there. I feel really bad for everybody who got let go.
Yes.
Because
right.
It's never fun to lose a job.
It's never fun to lose a job, and this is one of the worst times
oh my God.
to lose a job.
Yes.
With historic blah, 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 and awfulness. So that being said, I am personally super pissed with DC right now. So
DC or AT&T?
DC.
See, I kind of expect this from AT&T.
I expect it from AT&T, but DC has earned my ire. You, DC. I'm sorry everybody lost their jobs. I hope DC gets stronger and gets better from this, but DC. You.
Wow.
It is terrible that so many people lost their jobs at this time. But it's terrible losing your job in general. And I hope something comes out of this that's good. Because I think DC has been a mess for years.
I agree that I think DC has been a mess for years to varying degrees. Concern number one is that DC, now that they're officially just Marvel Jr., is going to become even more like Marvel, because one of the good things about DC, good or bad, whether you like Dan DiDio or not, he talked to retailers all the time.
Right.
And his people talk to retailers all the time. There's a DC retailer forum run by DC. There is nothing like that from Marvel at all. And I would like to shout out to all the other publishers out there, because they do a lot of stuff that Marvel and DC don't do. But unfortunately, Marvel and DC drive the boat.
Uh-huh.
Or drive the bus, whatever.
Sure.
So it is very, very worrying when DC or Marvel do stuff, because if something bad happens at Image, it's not going to affect the bottom line too much. Like, Saga's been gone forever. Walking Dead ended. Image has been trying to get a new Saga Walking Dead book off the ground. Nothing sells as close. But at the end of the day, I'm not losing money.
Right.
The store isn't losing money. If DC cuts its line in half,
20 to 25%. Supposedly, there were unprofitable books to begin with.
Yes. That is going to be a much more dramatic effect, because the bottom 10 or the bottom 25 or whatever DC books, bottom 10% DC books, still sell better than the majority of Image books.
Right.
Just because of the way the comic industry has been, and especially at my comic store that I work at, a lot more people are going to be upset that a bunch of DC books are going away than if a bunch of Image books went away.
Yeah. That's from the comic side of things. How do you think, will this affect toys in any way? Because
it is already affecting toys, because the first big name that you guys might care about was that DC Collectibles was shut down and canceled.
Right.
They've kind of walked that back a little bit, and that there might be
licensing
or something to replace it, but they fired that whole division, closed that whole division. So they'll still be McFarlane toys for DC, but the DC statues, DC other stuff is.
That's disappointing, because I collect some statues as well. So to see those potentially go away completely,
or different or something.
Yeah.
So that's especially for the Shockonaut Toy Review guys, that is a blow, especially since they just celebrated their 20th anniversary or 23rd anniversary or something. Can't remember the exact dates.
Yeah, I liked some of the DC Direct. I guess was the current name or the old name.
They were DC Direct, and they became DC Collectibles, and then they just went back to DC Direct.
Right.
And now it's gonna be like DC Direct Collectibles or something like.
DC confusing. Yeah, I like some of their stuff, but there was kind of consistency problems with every aspect. So size, switching between 6 and 7 inch scales, and aesthetic and accessories. Like every couple of years they'd relaunch.
Yep.
and there was just no consistency. I did like some of the stuff, and it's sad that we won't be getting it. Hopefully this licensing thing works out.
Yeah.
And we'll get toys more than just Batman from McFarlane.
Jesus. Yes, please.
Says the guy who was raving about, oh my God, I love all the new metal designs. I want all the toys. Oh,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that's all.
They're all Batman.
The toy,
Well,
the toy designs.
I get a Flash. I get
Batman Flash.
and a Batman Flash. Yes.
The toy designs are better than the comic.
Oh, that's a debate for another time. You're right. Spoilers. But there's a ton of like writers, artists who have been out. They recently confirmed when the DC previews information came out earlier in the last couple days that like here are all the titles that are going away. A few of them I'm surprised by. Hawkman has always sold really well and has been really good.
Hawkman, you say?
Hawkman.
Has sold well?
Mm-hmm.
I'm equally surprised.
Yeah, it's been really good. Sold really well, at least at this store. At my
Wow, I'm shocked. I've never thought a Hawkman book has sold well. Like, and I'm just not a Hawkman person. I don't get the character, but
if it's poopy, you could still read it, man.
no, that's true. And if it's
If
good,
it's poopy, and you keep reading it.
if it's good and it's recommended, I will check it out if I have time.
It was the pick of the week multiple times. Anyway, the third Justice League book or fourth Justice League book's being canceled.
Odyssey or Dark?
Odyssey.
Odyssey? Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And some other books. That's what we know so far. What we don't know, which could be a silver lining, is that almost any time there have been books canceled, is that they replace them.
Right.
But we're getting rid of the lower tier books. We don't know. There's also been a lot of speculation that they're going to go digital because all the people that they've hired or have been thinking of hiring, much like your EA Sports guys, are all digital video online people.
Right.
So people are worried that they're going to go to online only or keep getting rid of physical stuff. Jim Lee had a wonderful article that I'm sure we can't put a link up here somewhere if I find it for Wilson.
Yeah.
Very clear and concise. Where he says, hey, no, the comic books are the lifeblood of everything that we do on the DC side of things. They're not going away.
Oh, that's good.
They're the Campbell's soup of what we do.
They're the chicken in the chicken noodle.
Yeah.
And the soup cans. Jim Lee soup cans. I thought they might go the Marvel route and sort of license out to IDW or maybe Boom and make like a kid line. I thought,
DC just brought out their kids.
Yeah, the Ink, right? Or DC Ink or whatever. Yeah.
And they promoted that's the biggest. I keep saying that. One of the bigger shocks was that the kids line person stayed and was like raised up higher.
Mm-hmm.
They keep throwing those numbers that they're like the highest selling, best selling books, especially the Raven book sold like crazy. But it sold like crazy in bookstores, which there are less and less and less of. And
I thought
not
also
in
book
comic.
like school book fairs.
Yes.
Right. So
But again,
they might
not
be
comics.
right. Yes. But they
Los
might
libros
be
del camicos.
they might be creating a new audience that will grow up maybe to buy comics.
Possibly.
That's a good hope. Yeah.
But
I mean, that's
in the year and a half, 2 years experiment so far, I have seen very little crossover.
That's fair.
So while they did that, they at the same time they got rid of the Black Label guy.
yeah, that sucks.
And Black Label has easily been the best selling and some of the best comics and most popular comics that DC has put out.
Wonder Woman Dead Earth.
Wonder Woman Dead Earth, Batman Damned,
Harleen,
Joker,
Harley, Criminal Sanity.
people,
Good stuff.
It was very good.
all of them, tremendous sales, but they got rid of that guy, and it's like,
I don't understand. I mean, hopefully something that they try works.
we still all believe it's because of Bat Penis that was always going to happen. Maybe?
No, I don't. No,
Yes.
that's just a stupid.
No.
No, that's a stupid conspiracy theory.
No.
Yeah, no, sorry. Why have an adult like a clearly they labeled it as, hey, this is our more grown-up line, and then you get shocked when there's a dick in it? Who gives a
AT&T.
Well, AT&T, you know,
Warner
but then
Brothers.
all I hear from you is, oh, what makes you think that Warner Brothers and AT&T care about what's going on down here in the comics?
Because
that makes
it
no
hit
sense.
the national
Hasbro
because
TV.
it hit
Did
the
it
news.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was a slow news day, and it hit national
The
news.
president didn't say anything.
Nobody. It was the number one news
Antifa
story.
didn't blow something up.
Nope. It was
Somebody
the number
shoved
one news
something in their
story
ass.
when it happened.
Jesus.
And it happened like 3 days after the new DC person from AT&T took over.
Wow.
So the first thing she did that comes across her desk
Is a dick.
is that DC's publishing Batman's dick, and she has to turn around and go to Warner Brothers and AT&T, who are trying to sell Batman underoos
Yeah.
to little kids.
Well, that's what you put your dick in,
Man,
right? Right? It makes sense. Cross promotion.
yeah, this
Cover yourself.
This is
Batman does it.
Never put him in a position of authority.
Yes.
Oh my God, I would
So
abuse it so badly.
So it has been written on the wall that something would happen. But in the meantime, Black Label sales just keep going up. Everyone thought it would be a fluke because,
Yeah.
oh, Batman's penis. But no, every Black Label book has been really,
Arguably, Batman Damned has been the worst one.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would argue it was the only one that I didn't finish reading that I read.
Art was nice.
That was sad and confusing, and honestly, we still don't know what's going on.
They're keeping it very hush hush. They haven't named all the names of people who are coming in the new positions.
Everyone who is being let go was asked not to talk about it
Yeah.
until they were like, I don't know if they got cease and desist. I don't know how.
They probably had to sign something. That would be my guess.
They were told not to talk about it. The head of the letterers put out a thing saying, "Thank you for my time here," blah blah blah, like that. And everyone was kind of like, "Oh,
Really?
we thought you weren't allowed to do stuff like that." So that provided a little more insight. And then there are rumors, or they might have actually confirmed now, the two new people who will be in charge of publishing. One of them is not a comic book person at all. Somebody had an article about how DC seems to always be putting a non-comic book person and a comic book person together, so they would specifically, or maybe Warner Brothers specifically, they're not going to want to work together because they both have different ideas of how.
That's bizarre.
And why wouldn't you just put two comic book people
Together.
or someone who at least knows what Batman is outside of
Adam West.
yeah.
Right.
That is what was a big problem with the Dan DiDio run lately, was that everybody he talked to weren't comic guys. So it's very, very scary because
Well, we're also filming this before Fandom that's happening this weekend.
yeah, and
so-
why they would do this before that is
But there might be more information coming out of there
that is true.
that we don't yet have.
And maybe we'll actually get to see what that shadowed figure of Black Adam looked like. On a retailer side, I'm very concerned because, once again, the retailers are always going to be the one to bear the brunt.
Yeah, and it's not a good time for retailers either,
Yeah,
and that sucks.
because nobody has come up with like why any of this would be a good thing.
This is not unheard of, though, when these big corporations or big companies go through management changes and get new CEOs. Usually the first thing they always do, for example, in movies, is they look at what the previous person was doing and all the projects they were spearheading. They say, get out of here. They just wipe the slate clean.
5G is gone.
Yeah, and that's
Thank
that's
God. Oh my God.
you can see
That would have tanked some sales.
There was one book I was vaguely interested in, and I don't even know if it would have come out.
But you can see similarities here with that. I mean, that's what this person is like. Okay, well, this is all the stuff that was taking place under the previous management. It's gone bye now. I have newer, better ideas.
Do you think non-disclosures matter after everybody who was part of it got fired? Because it's
sometimes
with the company, not with the people.
Sometimes.
So, yeah, you would have to review I'd have to review the legal documents to let you know.
Some of this feels like
You've signed a non-disclosure?
No. My boss has signed a non-disclosure agreement.
But you don't know anything.
You don't know anything. You're speculating.
I do know, not about this. I know stuff about 5G.
Well, I don't know what's 5G.
Don't talk
You
about
don't know about 5G?
What the speed of which for telephones, for cell phones?
Skip it.
Okay, you'll tell me off, Mike.
Oh my God.
Skip it.
You don't know what 5G is. How do you work for me? Oh my God.
I don't know. I feel like some of this is New 52 style, only in slow motion. Like they're making a bunch of changes and none of it's immediate.
Yeah.
So maybe, hopefully, something good comes out of it. But the short term is a cluster.
Our hearts go out to all the people that have lost their jobs and are affected by this.
For those of you who don't know, retailers love Marvel because they make a lot of sales, but we hate Marvel because they're an awful company to deal with, and they make so many dumb things. Like, Marvel's plan is to throw everything at the wall, and if something kind of sticks, we're going to throw 14 more versions. And we're never going to talk to you guys, and everything we say is probably a lie or not true, or we'll deny it.
Or we'll do a solicitation that has no information or no cover image.
It's an ongoing for 6 issues.
And we're going, it's issue 37. What does that celebrate? Tuesday? We're going to do 8 variant covers. What? And one of the things that retailers especially loved about DC was that DC, for the most part, didn't do that, especially under Dan DiDio, because he went, that's awful business. That's short-term sales. It's not long-term sales. And I want to point out, as much as everybody hates Dan DiDio and hated New 52, or eventually hated New 52 and Rebirth and blamed him for everything, as soon as he was gone, the first thing DC started doing was releasing more variant covers, a la Marvel.
All right, yeah.
The first big change.
Coincidence?
Oh yeah, we're bringing back 1 in 25 variants and 1 in 100 variants and incentive variants.
Yep.
Wow, that took 0 time.
Yeah.
Those things are great, and we appreciate them because they do make us money, because people will pay $25 for the variant cover, and we make $20 on that cover. Great, awesome. But that isn't long-term health. That is short-term money goals.
Right.
And that doesn't bring in new people, and that doesn't keep people coming back.
Well, one of the things retailers have been saying for years is there are too many comics.
Yes.
So DC cutting 20 to 25% is kind of what was asked for, but
yes, it is. But what everything looks like and worrisome is that Wolverine sells, so Wolverine's going to be in every book. Oh, Cosmic Ghost Rider's popular? Well, he's in every book.
Yep.
Deadpool's popular, he's in every book. Well, DC has one guy. His name is Batman. He's in half the books already.
Yeah.
So get ready for Hawkman and Batman adventures. Harley Quinn's, I can't believe they haven't just renamed Detective Comics Batman Comics. Every time for the entire time I've been in comics retail, and I've been told for years and years and years and years, pretty much the entire time, anything changes in the comic book industry, retailers especially and fans immediately go, this is the end of the world.
Yeah, that's a total That's a
And-
pattern, dude, that really needs to stop. People
And-
really need to stop doing that quick knee-jerk reaction like that. That the fuck Chicken Little sky is falling.
The only real difference this time is that DC has done like everything at the seemingly wrong time, at
Yeah.
the worst time in the world.
Yes.
And they just like keep piling on all this stuff, and it's very, very like, now's the time you choose to get rid of Dan DiDio.
Yeah.
Now's the time you choose to get rid of Diamond. Now's the time you choose to randomly go with 2 randomly made up distributors. Now's the time you're gonna fire everybody.
But-
now's the time you're gonna fire this guy.
Somehow
Now's
Jim
the-
Lee's still there.
Yeah.
Well, it could just be unfortunate timing too. I
It-
mean, these aren't things that happen quickly all the time necessarily.
But
Like the Diamond thing, you yourself said they'd been talking about that for a long time, and it just happened that their contract ended.
correct.
Yeah.
But it just so happened that they just got rid of Dan DiDio.
Right. Yeah.
And everybody's losing money, no one's making money. Yeah, we're gonna fire everybody and we're gonna change the whole line. And like, what? They're handling things poorly. They're handling things like Marvel, and I hate to keep saying they're like Marvel, but like Image, boom, do a great job. Vault, good job. They announce things. They're upfront. There's a transparency. You know what they're doing. They always, at least seemingly, Valiant used to be, at least want to help retailers be on the retailer side. Anything they can do for retailers. Marvel does nothing for retailers. DC seems all these moves are to like, no, we're gonna get rid of any retail side, and eventually it's gonna affect the guys on the other side of the table, the readers.
Mm-hmm.
And without readers, I'm not in a job. I'm not getting comics.
You're right.
And that's all I care about. Comics and toys. Well, toys and comics, I guess now.
That's been it for this round table. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for the viewer that suggested the topic. If you yourself have a topic,
Ben, I can't pronounce your last name. Eads.
If you-
E-A-D-S.
we might not want to say that on whatever. If you yourself have a topic, feel
Ben
free
loves
to
me. I love Ben.
I understand that, but he might not want his name spouted out through the internet.
Then possibly don't not wear a shirt and do a video with you in it doing goofy stuff.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. If you yourself have a topic or have an idea for one, please let us know. Comment
Up with
below.
hope, down with dope.
This is just a regular fake pen. There's
Yeah.
nothing illegal in this.
Doesn't matter. Smells like ass.
It's because there's weed in it. So thanks for watching, and until next time.